time has come to talk about probably the most exciting part of a programmer's or coder's day of life, right? And we're talking here not about writing code, but about documentation. Do you have any? So both of us actually come from the banking industry, right?
Yeah.
And documentation in the banking industry is extremely important. You would probably write more documentation than your code because it's such a heavily regulated industry. But in any industry, whether it's tech, biotech, banking, insurance, whatever industry you're in, you probably have to you have to document your code. You have to write documentation. And there are a few things that you want to include depending on the purpose of that document. But a few things to consider is, in general, telling people that don't know how to code what this program, script, or piece of code is all about, what it does, what's the main purpose, the main goal of this code. You will talk about inputs, about outputs, what the end result after running the entire program or script is. What data dependencies do you have? What processes have to be ran before this program? What are the downstream processes? What are the upstream processes? What happens after you get the result from this code? And this could be presented to leadership, right, for approvals. This could be presented to clients, to anyone who does not know how to code, right? It'll be kind of a living document that you're going to be changing, providing updates as you improve your code. And I guess the main punchline here is to write this documentation as if you were talking about your own piece of work. So what do you want to tell people that are going to be the owners of your code, right? If it's not you, then those who will own this code or purchase this product of yours. What do you want to tell them? How do you want to sell it?
That's what I like most about documentation, because it's a way for you to teach others that may or may not know how to code about what your program, your function, your code does.
Makes sense. Yeah, that's right.
So it's a way for you to multiply your skills.
Yep. It takes a lot of time, but it's worth it.
And you know what? I think we have a good solution to connect documentation and coding.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's show it. All right.
And how you do that? With comments. Create the documentation inside your code is extremely important. Once you write your code, please go there and use, in case of R, the hashtag sign, and write your comments. You can see here in this example the line is in green because these lines represents comments that explain to someone that is reading your code that it's about to run your code, or someone that is making some maintenance in your code, how your program, your script works. And that we can write as much as we want. So it's important. It will help you remember how, why, and for whom you did this maintenance. You wrote this function. What was the inputs? What were the inputs? What were the outputs? Sometimes what was the law that you were following when you wrote that code, the business rule, or in case of analytics, what are the data set that you are exploring? What are the algorithm that you are testing? What would be a good output for your code? So write it down. It's not only for you, but also for other people that will share your code. And now I have a challenge for you. Go to the code that you wrote from the previous sessions and write comments and document your script. So, okay, at this point, you should already finished yours. Just for example, I will create some comments here to show you how it may work. So, I'm reading an age. So if I type here, read the age, how does it help me? If I am a coder, I understand the code. If I am a business person, it doesn't add anything for me. But if I tell here, read the age to record the user data in the main file, then I start adding value to my comments. So when you are writing your comments, try to explain to your audience what you mean, why you wrote that. If you are writing if you wrote a new function and it uses some specific arguments, so explain there what are the arguments that you are using, what are the value that you expect there. Remember here when we did this error on purpose, that the function was expecting values. By looking at it like in this raw code, I cannot understand. But if I had a comment saying why I'm calling that function and why I expect it to receive and what is the goal by getting that information, it will make my life way easier.
Question: do you know what the running joke is regarding comments and documentation?
No.
All right, so here's the joke. So here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you spend all this time writing comments in your code, spending additional time writing a document with all the things that this code does for people that don't know how to code? When would you use all of this? When is the prime time for using comments and additional documentation?
I don't know.
When you get hit by a bus. Ding, 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 ding. Well, and the truth is, and it is true to an extent, because when you get hit by a bus, something happens to you, or you leave the company, you leave the team, then people that pick up on your processes, on the things that you've created, will definitely go through your comments, will definitely read the additional PDF file that you've created explaining what this code does and what the inputs, outputs are, downstream, upstream processes, right? They will need that so that they can run your code.
Yep. Totally true.
Yep.
I agree.